Hey, what's up? This is Stu at Create, Educate, and Inspire, and in this video, we're talking about MPC templates. But before we do, make sure you subscribe down below so this channel can continue to grow. Now, MPC templates are awesome. I see it as a toolbox. So if you're a builder and you're about to go build a house, you're not gonna go look for your hammer and your drill every single time. With the template, you have access to all your tools, like your favorite sounds, your favorite samples, your favorite presets, right there, so when an idea hits, you can instantly create and you don't lose the inspiration. In this part one of this video series, we're gonna go over just the overview of the template, what's inside, and then in the second video, we're gonna actually take a look at the track we created using this template. It's an 80s style Weeknd vibe. And if you wanna follow along with this video, make sure you click the Patreon link down below where you can download this template and follow along. So on that note, let's get right into the video. Now, before we actually get into how this template is laid out and broken down, let's have a listen to the track that I made using this template. All right, so as you can see, it's a really groovy Weeknd style 80s track. But let's jump into this template and see how it's laid out and how that can actually help you make music faster and get ideas out quicker. So if we press and hold down main, we're gonna just take an overall look at all the tracks that are here. So there are 16 tracks. Again, we can add more if we want, but usually I keep my templates to about 16 tracks with some very key elements inside of it. The lower 8 is always drums with some toms and perks and tops right here. Then I always have bass, chord 1, chord 2, some effects, some vocal one-shots, some sort of melodic element here. It could be guitar clips, it could be piano clips, and then some toms for those dramatic fills. You may notice that each drum sound is laid out on its own track, and that's important because, as we discussed in a previous video, the mute state of a track is directly connected to a sequence. What that means is that if I had, let's say, a sequence like this that we just heard with the chorus and everything going on, and I copied that and I wanted to eliminate some drum sounds, I could simply come in here and mute those individual tracks, and when I switch in between those two sequences, the mute state of the track is connected to the sequence. However, if this one track had all 16 drum sounds inside of here, and I wanted to eliminate some in a different part of a sequence, since the mute state of a pad is connected to the program, I would then have to go in and edit the individual events inside of this track, deleting them to get rid of them. So we're doing it like this because this actually drastically speeds up your sequencing inside of the MPC, because we can just mute specific tracks, and when we go to that sequence, those tracks are already muted. So all 8 of these bottom ones, the top and perks, the effects, the voice, and the toms are all drum programs. And what each of them have is just one bank of 16 sounds that I commonly use inside of the genre. So if we take a listen to the kicks right here, there are 16 different kick sounds that I commonly use for 80 styles tracks. And that's the same across all of these. So if we switch into snares, these are all sounds that I know will sound good inside of an 80s track. I could go over to the claps, same scenario. So on and so forth. So hi-hats closed. Now you could keep adding more sounds. You could go all the way up through the banks here to 128 different sounds for each one of these different programs. But what this allows you to do is just have instant access to sounds that you know work really well within that specific genre. And also it makes it very easy to, let's say, audition other sounds. Once you have a sequence going on, you could simply scroll and transpose those MIDI events and then try out different sounds. And we'll actually see that when we go into the beat that we heard at the beginning of the video. Now, moving on from all of the drum programs Inside of the bass channel, we just have a hype synth with a standard bass sound that I know works well in this style of music. Same with the chords. We have one synth style chord and then also some plucks. And then we have an actual clip track here, which are just some guitar sample ideas laid out that all kind of work well together. So if you're not familiar with clip tracks, the way that they work is all of these pads will play, each one you can assign a loop, and they're all within the same mute group. So as I motion through them, they will trigger on the one, and they will continue to play until I either turn it off or trigger another sound. You can play all four of these correspondingly together, but when you're in this column right here, you can only play one and then it will switch to the other. So I just have some different guitar loop ideas inside of here. And then besides that, the one thing I did add is I pulled out my guitar and then just added some different chord hits inside of here just to kind of bring the guitar idea all together. So if we unmute that and then just play that back with the clip that I used in the beat, which is the first one right here, we have. Again, all of these are individual drum programs and each one has 16 samples that are instantly accessible. The perks, the effects, the vocals, and the toms are also drum tracks that have 16 samples in there, and you can add all of your own samples as well, so you have access to more. And now the bass, chords, and chords 2 are hype plugins that just have a preset that I know works, but typically once I start developing the track, I'm going to change that preset, customize the sound a little bit, and start tweaking it. And then under guitar clips, that's just melodic clips, whether you put guitar clips in there or you put piano or some sort of melodic clips. But again, those just fire and keep a groove as a backing track on there. I hope that helped you understand how a template can help speed up your workflow, where all your favorite sounds and samples are readily available so you can just dive right in and start creating. Now, in this next video, somewhere up here, we're gonna go over an 80s style Weeknd track that we made using this template. So on that note, thank you very much for your time and attention and have a great day.